Eventually, the percentage of intelligence that is biological will be less than 1%.
What we're doing is we're using our technology as a key enabler and differentiator, which uniquely enables Lucid to provide such a compelling EV offering.
But maybe in these transition years, it needs some other type of technology that can be a plug-in hybrid, a hybrid vehicle, to bridge us from today until the future.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock continues to consolidate around that $180 range. And as you can see from the weekly chart, it is doing it quite violently. As we go into Tuesday, I may be placing a call that extends out a month, but I'd really like to see TSLA fall to 175 or below. But at this rate, it's seeming less and less likely.
AI might be the most important question of all. The percentage of intelligence that is biological, grows smaller with each passing month. Eventually, the percentage of intelligence that is biological will be less than 1%. Biological intelligence can serve as a backstop, as a buffer of intelligence. But almost all intelligence will be digital. What role will there be for us? I don't know. I think it's very important that we build the AI in a way that that is beneficial to humanity. And there's some important principles here, because I've thought about AI safety for a very long time. I think you want to have a maximum truth-seeking AI. This is very important. The AI should not be taught to lie. It should not be taught to say things that are not true. Even if those things are politically incorrect, it should still say what it believes to be true.
A really insightful interview conducted of Elon Musk just had very little to do with TSLA. But definitely some nuggets worth chewing on. One thing is for certain, we live in very interesting times.
Peter, let's get right to that question. A wider than expected loss. And I think a lot of people are looking at this and they're saying, at what point can investors feel confident that you have bottomed and are starting to build on your operations?
Oh boy. Before we let Peter answer, I just want to preface this that Tesla makes this look much easier than it actually is. But Lucid does make a beautiful machine. It just will never, ever be profitable.
Well, I think our finances are actually dominated by our investments, our long-term investments. And what really differentiates us here is this special relationship we have with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. We're both in this for the long term. This is a long-term play, Phil.
So was Fisker. So was that autonomous Apple car. Those were long-term plays too. But that's unfair. Those are not the best of examples.
We are a cornerstone of their Vision 2030, which will transition their economy away from fossil fuels. Lucid is an absolute central element of that long-term vision.
Until it's not.
That said, Peter, you know that everybody wants to see an improvement in your production and your deliveries. You reaffirmed building 9,000 vehicles this year. Do you believe that you're going to be able to hit that, and then B, you can grow from there?
Absolutely. I'm very confident. We just came off a record first quarter, and we are seeing nearly 40% quarter on quarter and 37% year on year improvement in our deliveries. In a market where we're overtaking some key competitors, we're seeing that in that marketplace, despite reducing their prices very significantly, the sales of Tesla Model S have reduced dramatically. Ours have gone up 40% as years damn it.
9,000? No matter how far Tesla Model S sales reduce, they will still outpace anything that Lucid does. Not to mention the margin on those vehicles is significantly greater than anything Lucid will be able to produce. The Model S is a competitor to your vehicle like Patrick Mahomes is a competitor to a high school quarterback. Is there really any competition? Instead of focusing on Tesla's Model S, why don't you compare it to the internal combustion engine variant that you should be trying to displace?
So if these EV price wars continue, driven, as you mentioned, by Tesla and some of the Chinese players, do you think you have some degree of immunity? Is that your argument because of the quality of your product? At the higher end, you can still gain share, or at a certain point, do you have to over-deliver on the cost optimizations that you've been working on in order to continue to make the numbers you need?
That's a great question. You know, it's not immunity that we've got a special weapon, and that is our high technology. We're the leaders in EV technology, and that means that we can go further than anyone else can with less battery. And that's why we're able to offer the best car in the world behind me, the Lucid Pure rear-wheel drive, at just $69,900. Why can no one else do that? Because we can do that with just an 88 kilowatt hour battery pack. And the battery pack dominates the cost of EV making. So please don't think of us slashing prices to offer the customer a superior, compelling offering. What we're doing is we're using our technology as a key enabler and differentiator, which uniquely enables Lucid to provide such a compelling EV offering.
What's the margins on those things? I wish Lucid all the best as they try to corner the luxury market for cars with their 9,000, hopefully, in 2024. Maybe, just maybe, they'll become profitable. I mean, this is a business, right? If it don't make dollars, it can't make sense.
You're looking at the fact that Europe saw EV orders more than double in the first quarter compared to last year. If you look at 50% growth in orders for lots of EV makers in the United States, 9 of them recording more than 50% year-over-year growth in the first quarter. What is the key factor in making sure that first quarter sales can match what you see in the previous quarter?
First, the economy and the industry is on a robust way. We're growing 5% year over year. As you correctly pointed out, the EV segment is slowing down versus previous years. And I think it has to do with the pace of consumer preference and infrastructure.
That's all true, but honestly, it comes down to margin. How much money are you making on this powertrain? And for every company selling electric vehicles in the United States, not named Tesla, well, that's a negative number. You can put the emphasis on anything you'd like. Charging, consumer preference, but the real nuts and bolts of the situation is that the car makers aren't going to make money on battery electric vehicles unless there's a Tesla logo on it. But that just doesn't happen overnight. Tesla went through extreme growing pains to get where they are today, something that the legacy auto manufacturers aren't willing to do because of the stark difference in the profit margins from their internal combustion engines to their electric vehicles. The only way to meaningfully improve your margins with battery electric vehicles is to build them. Not only must you have a compelling product, much like Peter Rollins's Lucid, but you need to achieve economies of scale so that you can make these things profitably, reduce the cost without making your margins plummet to the center of the earth.
Okay, that makes sense. And we spend a lot of time talking about the lack of infrastructure and what's required to turn that around. Let's talk a little bit about customer preference. What are you seeing in terms of American demand for EVs that makes a difference about whether you're seeing that 50% year-over-year growth from like your competitors, BMW, Cadillac, Ford, Hyundai, Kia, Lexus, Mercedes, Rivian, and VinFast?
You cannot generalize because the US is as big as a continent. So depending on the city that you go to, you have a higher penetration on electric vehicles because you have a lot more density on infrastructure. But if you go to Middle America, it can be the state of Tennessee where we have a manufacturing facility, or Idaho, or Wisconsin. Maybe the infrastructure there is not ready yet. So you need to understand from the consumer point of view that they're not questioning that technology because the electric vehicle is a great technology. It's really nice to drive an electric vehicle. But maybe in these transition years, it needs some other type of technology that can be a plug-in hybrid, a hybrid vehicle to bridge us from today until the future.
That's all well and good, as long as your battery electric vehicle volumes are ticking up to where you can benefit from economies of scale. In order for these legacy auto manufacturers to survive the decade, they're going to have to become profitable in making battery electric vehicles. If you can do that while selling plug-in hybrids, by all means, do so. The future is electric. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This not as easy as Tesla makes it look.
Do you think that that's all up to the U.S. government, or is there something that the auto manufacturers, the dealerships, the service stations could be doing to facilitate that?
I think it's everybody's responsibility.
You're damn right.
We have a company called Electrify America. We're more than doubling our superchargers in the next year.
Not really about quantity at this stage of the game. It's about quality. It's no secret that Tesla has pulled back from their supercharging efforts, focusing on expanding existing charger locations and increasing the uptime. Electrify America, EVgo, their chargers are out there, but they suck donkey balls. With any luck, these companies will have scooped up any of the available members from Tesla's supercharging team. Like Pablo stated earlier, the responsibility lies with everyone.
So I think it's a job of us, manufacturers, innovation labs. There are many companies that are bringing new technologies that are faster charging, and also government. It can be federal government, states, local governments. I think the combination of everybody pitching in and putting more infrastructure will help us.
Not more, better infrastructure.
Let me make sure I understand. You said that as you double this infrastructure of fast or superchargers, everybody with any kind of electric vehicle will be able to use those facilities. Did I hear you correctly? And conversely, will your automobiles be able to plug into the existing Tesla network of superchargers?
Because that's the only thing that really matters. Is the Volkswagen customer going to be able to charge via the superchargers of Tesla?
That is correct. So when you, in a consumer, VW, Volkswagen, or any other brand can go to Electrify America and charge their vehicle in our network. They can do a subscription or not. They can go as a one-time. So it's quite open. Also, that dual charging going back to the grid and forth, it is in the works, and we're going to be able to do that in the next couple of years.
No matter how big the Electrify America network gets, if it doesn't improve in its quality, no one is going to use it anyway, unless it's for an encampment of some sort. In conclusion, there's a lot of optimism for the future. If you're talking about artificial intelligence and the advancement of the human race, or if you're a luxury EV maker trying to make it to 2030, there is no shortage of optimism. But on a path to a sustainable future, some hard choices are going to have to be made. Tesla cannot do this transition alone. All they can do is be a beacon and lead the way. The only problem is, it's not as easy as Tesla makes it look. That's all I got for you today. Be easy. Peace.